I was on my phone last night, and I go on Twitter, and I see this, and I start to cry. This was my dream. I was gonna make a video on these unreleased Pokemon anyways, because there was a few before. But after seeing this, I was like, okay, I have to pause the one I'm working on now, and I have to do this shit. So this isn't a meme edgy video. If you want one, then I suggest Big Brother Earape. That's funny. But we're actually gonna analyze the sprite sheet, some of the Pokemon that haven't been released, or something in correlation to that. So let's get into that. Alright, so the first thing we have is Chikorita with its second evolution being whatever the hell this is. It looks like the petals on the sides turning into the petals on Bayleaf, possibly. And the 3 dingies on its head turned into the 2 on Meganium. But it's still really weird. It looks like it turns into a plant. It's pretty cute, to be fair. Next, we have the 2 other starters, which we've previously seen before in some magazines. This being this weird seal thing that looks like a Neopet, and this kind of Raichu-looking fire lion cub thing. It turns into a lion, and this turns into more of a dragon-looking seal. They're pretty interesting. Imagine having these as starters. Now, I know I'm gonna get shit for it, but I got Chikorita. But looking at it, I honestly don't know which one I would pick. It's kind of a tie for me. Although Chikorita, you lacking, I'm sorry. And you have normal Hoot-Hoot, and then you have this, which I prefer 10 times more than whatever the hell this is. But moving on, the Mareep line. Mareep is black. Vulpix is a weird hairdo. It looks like Tangela would have had a pre-evolution and an evolution. One where it has only one eye and these curls, and then this other one where it possibly has its eye covered over with a grin like a creepy anime character. Whoa. The next Pokemon we have is this sort of flying fish type thing. Pretty sure it's supposed to be a Mantine. I can't really tell for sure. But then there's Quillfish, and we've seen Quillfish before. Then we see him with an evolution with a Thunderbolt on his head. It kind of looks like this Pokemon, but Pichu! Why do we have this shitty thing, but we don't get this? I want this. I don't want this. I want this. And then we have Cleffa, which also looks pretty cute. It has a weird dingy on its head. We have Igglybuff, and oh my god, ew. And then Meryl was supposed to be pink, not blue. The alleged Pika Blue was supposed to be pink, which is also kind of weird. There's this new evolutionary line, which goes from a little fish thing with a dinghy also on its head to the shark with an anchor as a tail. The fuck? And then you have this slithered cunt with a big mouth, and he also has a dinghy on its head. I really want this. This is cool. I really like the anchor aspect. There's a baby form of Paris, which is actually on top of the mushroom instead of the other way around, so get this. There was going to be an evolution for Ditto, and the way he evolved was with Metal Coat. I'm not really sure how that would work, seeing as the idea of Ditto evolving doesn't really make sense, because all it knows is transform, but it'd probably turn into a steel type. And then there's a pre-evolution for Doduo, which is just this cluster of birds. And then you have this sort of mix between a Ghastly and a Haunter sort of thing. It's called Twins, and there's 2 sets of hands. There's 2 faces. So I think it's really cool because I really like flying claws, because but this is the pre-evolution for Girafarig, which also is different. We've seen this before. The back was originally another giraffe, which was black. And then there's Baby Meowth! Half of this shit is so much better than what we have now. Well, we don't even have a pre-evolution for Meowth, but still. Next, we have these 2 bell kits. We have the kitten, which has a little bell on the tail and one on its neck. And then we have this one that has a gold bell and this weird design on the front. I really would have liked to see these because I kind of like that aspect a lot. Seeing how it turns from a little bell to a bigger bell. Then we have a completely different version of Politoed. It still has the same swirl that Poliwrath and Poliwhirl does, except it's green and it actually looks like a frog. Next you have Lady Ba, nothing different. But then Lady N fucking looks like a Dragon Ball. I don't know what this is. And then you have the thing that goes on Slowbro, the thing that bites on its tail. So this was actually going to be its own Pokemon. So it's kind of interesting seeing how they were 2 separate entities, but then it turns into one. And then you have a baby Grimer. Remoraid looks like a gun, and Octillery looks like a tank. There's so much stuff they could have left in that would have looked really cool and would have been cool. But see, this, I don't know why they got rid of that. That would have just been cool. Then you have a completely different version of Tyrogue and Hitmontop. We've also seen the Hitmontop before, except it looked a little different, and I don't know if they're correlated at all. And then we have a pre-evolution for Growlithe. And then, probably the cutest line in all of this, it's the Hoppip line. It turns off to like this cat thing, to this yellow cat thing, to this pink cat thing. And it's fucking adorable. Why did they switch it with this? Who wanted this? I want this! Here's a baby Mr. Mime that looks like an egg. And then a Smoochum, which doesn't look as fucking ugly. And then Elekid! I don't know if that ring flies on top of its head, but look at this face. And then a Magpie that doesn't look like it has herpes on its head. Blossom was black, and we all know they changed that because of the whole Jinx issue. Why am I saying we all know that? Probably only 5 of you know that. And then there was a different version of an evolution for Weepinbell, which was supposed to be this, which evolved from a Poison Stone. Looks like a walking Plants vs. Zombies thing, if you ask me. And then there's Bomushka, which is the seal with a fireball on its nose. And then we have these other 2 electric rat-looking things, which is also Pikachu, so I don't get that. But this kind of looks like it's inspiration from Dedenne. And get this, Farfetch was gonna have an evolution, so it wasn't gonna be as useless. It was gonna have another thing to evolve from. But like Pokemon always does, they scrap stuff that they don't have to. A voodoo doll Pokemon. And look, it has little panda ears. And how do I know it's pandas? Because bam! The next one is called Kaiopan. It's a Jangshi and a panda. This is the best one. I'm not biased at all, I swear. Then you have a Blissey with a big heart and 2 eggs on the sides. But now it only has 1 big egg in the middle and no heart on top of it. And then it looks like we had a Pinsir evolution. And then we have another different evolutionary line, which is supposed to be a werewolf type Pokemon. This one's a lot smaller. It looks like it has a tiny werewolf over it. And the evolution turns into one that looks bigger and it has claws. And then still another one. We have Polygon 2 and it looks like a cute weird lion. Don't fucking have it. I need a drink of water. Remind me, I'm just gonna... Gotta quench that thirst. And then we have evolution to Licky Tongue, which is this kind of, it looks more like Slowbro with like whiskers coming out of it, and it has circles on its body and a still large tongue. And then we have a different form of Kingdra, which looks more furryish. And speaking of furryish, these last Pokemon look like furries. So the 3 beast bad boys, they look like horses and they look like they were made on DeviantArt, especially Suicune. Tell me that does not. And the black one looks edgy, and the fire one also kind of edgy. And then there's Sneasel, which looks like this instead of this. So. And then the last 2 we have is Leafeon, which also, yet again, looks like it was made by a furry. And then an Apom. Turn from this to this. Thanks for listening to me babble about shit you probably don't care about. This has been Max Mofo Pokemon. Thanks for watching. Bye.
What is this? You gonna talk down to everyone just because you won a game of Trivial Pursuit?